So let's get on with the business of removing these intersecting cars. Oh, spacebar and F. Removing the intersecting cars is going a bit slow. This maybe if we set it to wireframe, it seems a bit better. Okay, yeah. So you can see we've got lots of cars. They're all intersecting. We've packed it here, so we've lost that that class attribute. So I'll just make another one. Connectivity. Okay, and set this again to primitive. Okay, and I'm going to attribute promote the name attributes as well, so that we have it on our primitives. Grab the name attribute there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go over each of these cars and turn it into a box, basically. Okay, so to do something for each object, we need a for each. For what did I do there? Not that one, sorry. For each named primitive, drop that, connect this in. I've come out to the side here because I'm going to have two streams coming a bit later. Okay, and the primitive is going to be that class attribute. Okay, there we go. So let's visualize that. Well, go to the first one, spacebar and F to find it. There we go. We got one of the cars there. Lovely. And I'm going to drop a bound. Now we'll just make a box around my car, around each car. Set this back to smooth shaded so we can actually see our lovely box. Okay, that's all we need to do there. And I've again brought this over to the side because I want to, in doing this, we lose attributes, right? So we need to bring back the class attributes. So attribute copy there. And we're not copying the color. As I said, we want to copy the, where are you? Class. Okay, that's it. Go to the end and we'll have a load of boxes where our cars were before. Okay, but the boxes are, you know, the size of our cars. The cars won't be protruding these boxes at all, so you're not going to get a car which is intersecting in this space. Okay, this just simplifies things for us. Okay, now if we drop a boolean and set this to union, so now any box which is intersecting becomes one, so you can see they all connect together. All right, and then this is kind of the clever bit. We come here, come to these seams, AB seams. We're going to output a group. So now we're outputting this group of seams. So basically here now, any box which is intersecting, we have a group on it with values of 1. And any of these cars, for example, there's no seam, so there's not going to be a group. So that's how we are, you know, isolating well, first of all, a group of cars which are intersecting each other. Okay, so we obviously still got a bit of work to do on that. We need to, you know, transfer that information over. I'm also going to, from each group of cars, delete only 2 of the cars and leave the biggest, basically. Okay, so that we don't just get rid of everything that we've got. Okay, so and one thing before I forget, so when we come to texture and shade these cars, we're going to be taking the shaders from another scene, and we don't have shaders for the Volvo, I believe. Let me just double check. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the Volvo, basically. So the Volvo is car 7. This is another reason why this, you know, this system is handy. So this Volvo car 7, the name attribute is car 7. So if I come down here, attribute from pieces, car 7, set that to 0. So then I'll have none of them. You see a little change, so they're being replaced with other cars, and now, and it's easy as that. That's what's great about, you know, this whole proceduralism. Really works great. Okay, so I'm going to drop an attribute wrangle here, and this will be on our points, and grab that group AB seams and basically just set a color to this at CD. I guess we could just drop a color node, whatever you want, and just make it red. Okay, so there we should have some colored. You can see that because we're getting some grading because we got red points there and a white point, so it's kind of we get a grade between the two. Now we need a new connectivity node as we've changed the geometry. So I want to, grab each of these pieces as one thing so that I can iterate over them yet again. So now for each named primitive. Okay, and sorry, then, oh, sorry, not yet. We need that new connectivity, a new class attribute. Okay, that's fine. No, in fact, we're not going to use this for iterating. We're going to leave this class attribute on the points. We're just going to iterate over the primitive class attribute. Okay, so let's just go to the first one. Let's go to single pass and just kind of work through them. I think we can do that now. Yeah, spacebar and F. No, my mistake. We do want to use this. Okay, and then go. Okay. Let's set this to primitive. And now we should get, so let me zoom out, and then we should get something like, there we go. So yeah, you can see we're getting all the single cars there, and then we're also getting these blocks as well. So within here now, what I want is, for that same attribute to be over everything. So a trick to do that is drop an attribute promote. Okay, and promote that color. So CD from points to detail. Right, you can see it kind of averaging out there. And what we don't want is the average, we want the minimum. Okay, and that will give us, if you see, if we come onto the detail attribute here, so that's one value for the whole thing. So the minimum, so that means we get our the black stays, the zero attribute stay 0 by setting it to minimum. Set it to maximum, everything will become white because the other ones are white. But minimum is what we want. Okay, now if I come to the end and turn off this single pass, view everything. Oh, we need to, sorry, one more step. Another attribute promote. To put it back onto the points, basically. Detail to points, not the class. Detail to points, color, and there we have it. So now what we've got now is every kind of cluster of intersecting cars is red, and everyone which is not is white. Okay, so you can kind of see where we're going with this. So obviously these are not the cars, they're just boxes which represent the cars, so we need to transfer over this information to our cars, right? So I'm going to assemble this. Okay, oops. Create pack geometry, and we need to transfer the class attribute and the color. Okay, and then if we grab an attribute transfer there, so this will go into our second input, and our geometry, the actual cars come in here. Okay, and let's visualize that. So you can see it's almost doing it. So we want to transfer over the on the points the color, and that's we need the class attribute. Okay, but we need it on the points here. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to set another one here and do it to points. We could do this after, actually. If we come down here, set the class attribute onto the points this time. Okay, because I want them on the points here. And now we should have class there. Perfect. Okay. We don't want anything on the primitives. Conditions. Let's see. Don't want any blend width, and let's bring down the distance to 1. just to be safe. Okay, and that should pretty much, you can see there's one mistake there where it's not transferring over correctly for some reason. But anything like that, you know, we can just delete it by hand later. Okay, so you can see now what we could do is just delete any red cars, which is pretty simple, easy to do. And that would, well, in fact, that would solve this problem because they are, you know, that would leave one car. But that would leave lots of gaps, you know, and wouldn't really work great for us. So I'm going to try do something different so we're going to delete all of them except for the biggest. Okay, so yeah, well, I think we'll continue with that in the next video.